Welcome back. We're continuing to learn about Hugging Face. We used a pipeline, and so there are different ways that obviously we can work with models, and so pipelines is one of them. But what I want to do is go back over to here to Hugging Face, and I'm going to again continue to focus on Llama 3.2 and see what else we can do with it. So we went here and went to transformers, and so we used a pipeline, which is this way. Which way? This way. There's another way where we can directly load a model, and so this might be a way that we might want to work with it. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this, and I'm going to go back over to Lightning AI, which I still have running with our CPUs. I'm going to go ahead and make a new file here, new notebook. This will be HF. I really should name this one pipelines, but that's fine. And we'll rename this one to HF direct model. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paste this, but I'm not exactly sure how to fill the rest in here, as I normally have a basis of code that I work with, and I tweak it from there. But let's go ahead and see if ChatGPT can help us out. So we'll say, you know what? We should try to use other models. We shouldn't just use ChatGPT every day. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to Gemini, and I'll just say, I want to run, I want to have chat mm, with with Llama 3.2, but I need to complete the code. And if I see the code, then I'll be like, okay, yeah, that's what it's supposed to look like. Wow, that was fast. That was really, really fast. That was really, really fast. And I guess we're on Flash, so that kind of makes sense. And so here we have transformers, the same lines, and so we have some Python down here. Here's how you can complete the code. Okay, so here we could set the setting to GPU or CUDA. Actually, that looks pretty good. And it would default to CPU. So actually, I'm really happy with that. So we'll go back over to here. Okay, but I think if you didn't specify anything, it would just fall back to that. Sometimes I see numbers here instead. So instead of CUDA and GPU, it might be 0 and 1. And 1 might be CPUs for some weird reason. Then down below, we have a function. Okay, so let's go ahead and copy this and see what we have. Let's go down here. And I'm going to break this up into 3 functions. I think that's a little bit better. Okay, and so we have our function where it's going to generate text. And so we have the tokenizer. Okay. Yeah, because when you have an LLM or a model, you need to tokenize it before you put it into the class. Okay, so that makes sense. And then we have model generate. So we're calling dot generate on a model. So if we looked up maybe like auto model for casual LLM, if we looked at this, probably, yeah, we have our auto classes. So in many cases, the architecture you want can be used and guessed from the name or path of pre-trained model. Okay, so we have that. But what I'm looking for here is it's just the functions like generate and things like that. So do we have generate here? I mean, suggesting that it's in here somewhere. Generate, 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 generate. Or am I just in auto classes? Hold on here. I'm just in regular auto classes. I want this one in particular. This one here. Okay. And so what I'm looking for here, this is Hugging Face API somewhere else. So we can configure it. Okay. But where does that generate thing come in play? From pre-trained. Because maybe, yeah, you have the model here, right? And then we can call functions on it like generate, but where does that come from? So let's go back over to Gemini. It's like, where does the generate function come from? The generate function is powerful. Okay, great, but I can't find it. Okay, but where? Let's go here and see. It might have docs for us. There it is, text generation. Each framework has a generate method for text generation. Okay, so basically whatever it's, so there's different frameworks like PyTorch, TensorFlow, FlaxJax, and so I guess the idea is that it's mapping to that one underneath with a generic one there. I still don't understand how it's getting there, but I at least kind of have an idea of it, so that's totally fine. I think this is going to work. And then we can set how the max amount of tokens and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a run. So we'll, do I have to install anything? Probably transformers at least, right? So we'll do pip install transformers. It might already be in our environment, but I'm going to go ahead and run this again anyway. And by the way, like when you're working on dramatically different things, you probably would want to spin up a separate studio, as when you're working locally with code, you would often spin up a separate cond environment, right? I'm going to go down here, and again, I'm just going to silence this as this is kind of annoying. And then we'll run the next one. So it's going to download Llama 3.21 billion. We actually already have it downloaded from the pipeline before, so I'm assuming it will go in the same place. We can actually tell it where to download, by the way. If we wanted to put in a very specific folder, and that's something that you might want to do, and we probably will do at some later point, because when you're working with containers, you need to place it somewhere outside the container. And so, and also just, it's good to know exactly where you have it. So I prefer to explicitly say where it's going to go so I can see the files. But really what it's doing is it's literally downloading the contents of this. So if we were to specify where to download it, I think that we would see that. Maybe we could ask it to do that. We'll go back here to Gemini. Can we change the code so we can say exactly where the model should be downloaded? Because I don't want to feel like how to find that here. And yes, so here, yeah, are we just specifying cache? Is that what it is? Cache directory. And so here, what we could do is grab this here. I said we'd do it later, but let's just do it now. And the path I want to put it here is just like models. Okay, and I'll just make a new folder here called models. This should be relative. I'm not sure if I could just do this and say like period / like that. This says model path, so I'm not sure if we should put llama within it or this is going to be a single model. Okay, so is this a path to a generic models, or should I have a folder with the model name? I don't like how they didn't give me a concrete example. If you don't specify a folder... Okay, so maybe we'll try this here. Right? And so let's do this, because I wanted to see it download, right? It might complain that the folder doesn't exist. Let's go down here. Oh, right. We got to load it in. So we did this before in this other one here. And we're going to need to bring in python.env. So we'll go up here and put this in here, and then we'll grab this, put that in there. So we'll run this and then this. And it says we need to restart our kernel. Let's just restart it. And we'll run them again. And I don't know if this is going to work without that folder, but oh, it is. Okay. So if we go into here in Llama 3.2, see, we didn't, yeah, see, we could have just put in a generic folder. So that's silly. Yeah, it didn't really understand what I was asking for, so we could have just done this. And I'm just going to stop this because I don't want that to go there. And so I just want to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. We'll delete this. Delete. I do not care. Just delete it. Models. Delete this folder, please. Delete. Okay, that's fine. Gonna open up terminal here. We actually can see our terminals over here, I believe. That was like when I was running before. I don't want to do it that way. Let's go back over to terminals here. And maybe down here. There we go. And so I'll just type in ls. And so I'm just going to go into models here. And I'm going to go remove rf llama 3.2. There we go. And if I go back over to here. Okay, now this, there we go. And so now we just have an empty models folder. That's a bit nicer. We'll go ahead and download it. Because again, this is how I would probably work with it. It does store it somewhere. I just don't know where, and I can't be bothered to look for it. But I like to know where my models are, and it's just how I do it. So we'll give a moment for this to download. And again, if you are utilizing GPUs, if you need them, you can always switch between CPUs and GPUs here. So when you're downloading models, use CPUs, and then when you're not, go to GPUs. All right, so that model is done downloading, but let's go take a look at its contents. Okay, so we have blobs, refs, snapshots. We go into here. That's not really that useful. We'll go into here. Okay, and so this is the stuff that will look a bit familiar. So we go back over to Hugging Face. I believe, if we look at it here, yeah, it's these files. So we have the model, safe TensorFlow, and some of the other ones. Yeah, so we have the ones that we need. It's not all of them, but it's most of them. And so, that's what we can see here. I'm not sure if we can get info from here. We probably go to terminal to find out. But, what's really important to note is like how large these files are. So this basically is the model weights. If you're using a TensorFlow one, it's going to be different but this one is, no, so this is a TensorFlow model, but if it's PyTorch, the format looks a bit different. I usually see .bin files. If there's another format for PyTorch, I don't know what it is. But anyway, the model is now downloaded, and so we can tell it to use CUDA. If it doesn't, we'll do that. It's saying name torch is not defined. So this is where we'll have to include torch. Okay, that's PyTorch. I'm actually going to put this on a separate line just because PyTorch is a bit of a pain in the butt. And I want to see it do all the stuff here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. It's going to be a big old mess. I'm going to go ahead and restart this kernel. One thing that I don't want it to do, I don't want it to constantly download the model if it already exists. But I think that if it does exist, it won't do that. So I think that's fine. And so I'm going to go back to the top here, and we'll run this one, and then we'll run this one. I don't think it will download twice. Will it download twice? If it does, we can put code in there to say, hey, don't do that. But I would expect that it would see that it's there. Yes, it did. And now we can run this now. Torch. We're talking about it's right there. Oh, torch right here. Okay, so we have to import it, right? So I'll go here and we'll start importing our torch. Import torch. And torch might have already been pre-installed. I'm not sure. Okay. I mean, I didn't get any errors, so that's probably fine. I don't know if that's from the import torch. I'm not sure why it's printing out all that, but I'm just going to ignore that for now. So we created our function. And so here we have kind of a loop. I'm not sure if this is going to work because I'm not seeing it like expecting any input from us. Well, it does say user input here. Let's see what happens. Okay, great. So we can put it user input. So here we'll just say hello. We'd enter. It says the intention mask and the pad token ID were not set. As a consequence, you may observe unexpected behaviors. Please pass your input attention mask to obtain reliable results. So we do get a response back. Hello, my name is Maddie. I'm a 20-year-old and I'm living in... Whoa! What the heck? This is screenshot worthy. This is screenshot worthy. It's like this is built for catfishing. All right, so sorry, that was just so unusual. I had to take a screenshot and just share it with my socials because literally I did not expect it to make up such a weird scenario. Are you real? Let's see if it even knows. And it is working. Again, we don't have a lot of CPUs here. And you can see it, like the RAM CPUs it's using up here, but it works really well. I'm a real estate broker in the state of Florida. That is really great. So we'll go ahead here. I just want to ask it about this. Sometimes you have to tweak, like this is an error I get. What do I do about this error? But this is something I've had to solve before, and there could be like a configuration file that we might have to tweak, or it could be just input parameters here. But this is where if you use the pipeline, there's less fiddling around. But if you use direct model control, you have a lot more control of what you are utilizing. So anyway, that's direct model control. I'm not sure how much more I need to really show of this to you folks. So we'll call this one dusted and done, and then we will take a look at something else that we can do on Hugging Face, as there is a lot that we can do on, with Hugging Face, and we should learn as much as we can, as I think it's super valuable. Let me just clear out these here. If I right click here, we'll say clear all cell outputs. And right now we're working with Lightning AI, but just understand that I like to do local development as well, but just trying to give you a place where you have reliable compute, assuming that this platform is free while you're utilizing it. But I'm going to go ahead and download this one, and we're going to bring that on in to GitHub, wherever that is here, into Hugging Face. And so that's our direct model. There we go. There we are. Thank you very much. And I will see you again, and we'll do more with Hugging Face, okay?